If anything, they figured he won merely because of the element of surprise. Nathan had no real urge to tell them otherwise, since he knew this first examination meant very little. Had Nathan been a normal 14-year-old youth, this event might have meant the world to him. But Nathan was far from normal. With the soul of an experienced fighter in a youth's body, Nathan knew this was going to be easy. As a low-level master stage warrior, this examination was going to be a piece of cake. On a stage in the center of the plaza, the master of ceremonies explained the rules of the competition to the audience. "Citizens of Godric Shull, are you ready for the examination to begin?" Fabulous. Now remember, the exam is broken up into 3 stages. 3 ways to test a student's spiritual fighting capabilities: speed, strength, and combat. For the test of speed, the students must sprint many laps around this field. For strength, they must lift the heaviest stone boulder they can manage for as long as they can. For combat, they must show off their swordsmanship. Nathan ignored the announcements, as he had heard it all before. Instead, he began to stretch and quietly knelt and prayed to the heavens for strength. As he did so, he ignored a few dirty glances from some former classmates from the Academy of the Mystic Blades who stood nearby. "Heavens, guide me through this test. Allow me to make my family proud, and let me wield the power of Asura as I need to." As Nathan stood, he walked over to the rear of a cluster of students pushing to stand at the starting line of the first part of the examination, the race. The rules were simple. Students must run 10 laps around the massive plaza's perimeter. After every lap, they were given a ribbon to wear around their neck. Once they had received all 10 ribbons, they could approach the race official and record their results.
"Ha! Watch out, Hayfield. You might just have to start your race with a broken leg. That wouldn't be fun now, would it? I wonder how many times I'd be able to lap you then."
John Crane chortled as he brushed right up beside Nathan at the starting line. Nathan took a breath and then felt John's elbow press into his side. Before John could react, Nathan swiftly pushed him several inches back. John cursed under his breath as he swatted Nathan's hand away and moved further down the starting line.
"How dare you push me? You better watch out during the race."
Nathan smiled. John had no way of knowing that when Nathan pushed him, he had released the Asura Weakening Aura through his palms and into John Crane's body. This subtle form of spiritual magic could be incredibly powerful, but Nathan's spiritual levels were still low enough that it inflicted only minor damage on John. Still, over the course of the day, it would no doubt sap him of his physical strength, his spiritual energy, and his will to go on. The real reason Nathan smiled was because he knew that the very fact that he could use this technique meant that he had definitely reached a middle rank of the master level. As Nathan settled back into his regular form of breathing, he waited for the race to begin. Across a herd of anxious faces, Nathan's calm demeanor stood out as the officials prepared to shoot the fire arrow announcing the start of the examination. From the corner of his eye, Nathan spotted a welcoming sight. It was Baelor, shivering from nerves. Nathan waved to his friend to catch his attention. Baelor was too far away to speak to, but when he saw Nathan, he immediately calmed down, reassured by his friend's presence. Baelor waved back and then nodded toward the student beside him. Nathan's eyes widened. Standing next to Baelor at the starting line was none other than Stewart Lightstone. Stewart nodded his head respectfully toward Nathan. Nathan grinned and nodded back. Re-inspired by the sight of his allies, Nathan felt confident there would be no trickery or sabotage of his race by House Raven or House Clay. As the official with the bow tried and failed to light the arrow to announce the start, Stewart whispered something in Baelor's ear. Baelor nodded profusely and then rushed down the line of racers toward Nathan. "Baelor, my friend, what is it?" As Baelor reached him, He immediately whispered in Nathan's ear.
A word of caution from Stewart. His father told him that this race is not as simple as it seems. There are unseen obstacles that you must be wary of.
What sort of obstacles? Finally, the official's arrow caught fire, and he shot it high into the sky. As the arrow arched and reached its zenith, it exploded into a massive fireworks display. Before Nathan could get anything more from Baelor, the tide of racers pushed them forward past the starting line. The spiritual warrior examination had begun. Nathan was trapped in a river of his peers as hundreds of competitors sprinted forward on the first lap of the speed trial. Anxious nerves had got the best of them all, and so the speed at the start was lightning quick, which caused many to fade as they rounded the first corner of the plaza. Despite all the terrified faces around him, Nathan stayed remarkably calm. The entire race was shorter than his average training run around the city, so he knew this would be far from difficult. Within a few short strides, Nathan made his way through the surrounding foot traffic to the very front of the race. He stayed just behind the leader of the race, and all those nearby stared at Nathan's relaxed state. Everyone around him was already sweating profusely and gasping for air, while Nathan simply glided forward with easy, shallow breaths like he was out for a gentle walk. A few other lead runners wondered aloud between heavy breaths.
Fuck me. Who is that? How is he making this look so easy? That's insane. He just sprinted up here from the very back of the pack. There's no way he can keep that pace up for the whole 10 laps. Even if I charged full steam ahead for 50 meters, I still couldn't match his speed.
At this point, it was already clear that Nathan was on another level from the rest of the pack. By the third corner turn of the first lap, he had already created a sizable lead over the next fastest runner, who was just then passing the second corner and looking close to passing out from the effort. After Nathan completed his first lap, most of the field was still barely a quarter of the way around the plaza. As Nathan turned into the second lap, he smiled. Suddenly, the track itself had disappeared and been replaced with thick, gooey mud, the first real obstacle. Nathan used the power of Asura to channel spiritual energy into his feet, which allowed him to trudge through the mud quickly without much trouble. Behind him, the pace of the others slowed dramatically as they slipped around and struggled to pull their feet out of the mud. By the time most students had finished one lap, Nathan had already completed 3. Meanwhile, toward the rear of the pack, John Prane stumbled forward slowly, only halfway through the first lap. The Asura Weakening Aura had done its job well.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.